Today, we're going to have a look at some of the most expensive breeds in the livestock world. If you are looking to raise a high-value animal, we have a list for you. But you know how we like to do things on this channel? We start at the smallest and work our way up to the biggest breeds, and we sprinkle a few interesting tidbits of information as we go. Because what's life without a little fun anyway? Let's get into it. Rabbits. To start us off, but they're a tricky one. Technically, the most expensive breed of rabbit are the lionheads, but those are sold as exotic pets, and not a livestock animal. The continental giant rabbits are the most pricey in the livestock category. They aren't rare or anything, but since they are the largest rabbit in the world, you can imagine that the price goes up with size. 3 feet long and 25 pounds will cost you $500 for just one. Luckily, rabbits breed like crazy, so you'll probably just need to make one big purchase to get a breeding pair or two. The highest price that any rabbit's ever gone for was for a Belgian hare that was sold for $5,000 in 1900. That's about $33,000 today. Belgian hares are quite rare and sought after, but mostly on the show circuit. Why this one went for so much is anyone's guess. Chickens. The most expensive chicken breed is definitely the Ayam Cemani, and they're probably the most recognizable breed of all of the animals on our list. And understandably so. Black all over. Beak, eyes, feathers, skin, and yes, even their meat and organs are dark. They are also one of the animals that are most often sold by scammers and opportunists. Despite what the Craigslist ad tells you, their eggs are not black. Those are usually just regular chicken eggs, spray-painted black, and sold to unsuspecting victims. But through a reputable breeder, chicks go for $2,500 each. More if they're of breeding and egg-laying age. It's almost impossible to find eggs for sale, since they already aren't the best layers, and the breeders understandably keep their eggs for incubation to ensure as many live birds as possible. The Dong Tao, or the dragon chicken, isn't far behind the Ayam Cemani, going for $1,200 a chick, and they lay even less eggs a year, so getting your hands on eggs is harder than for the Ayam Cemani. Both of these breeds' hefty price tag is almost self-explanatory. They're rare and unusual. But their lackluster egg-laying abilities coupled with terrible mothering instincts and the Dong Tao's habit of crushing her eggs accidentally with those heavy legs complicates bringing their numbers up even more. There are no official record holders for the most expensive chicken ever sold at auction, but there is a record for the most expensive chicken nugget ever sold. And since we just love a funny story, we couldn't help but include this one. An eBay listing was published for a chicken nugget that was shaped like a character from the Among Us game. This silly little listing somehow went viral, and this sparked several days of frenzied bidding from across the globe until it finally sold for $99,997. No one knows who the seller was, but thanks to a viral moment online, this guy made a ridiculous amount of money for a stale chicken nugget virtually overnight. Turkey. The most expensive breed of turkey is the rare and endangered Jersey Buffs. You'll be shelling out $3 to $4 for an average-sized tom, and that's just for the carcass. Good luck finding chicks for sale. The few who do breed and sell them are not letting go of their high-demand meat birds. The five-star establishments are clamoring for this exceptional turkey on their tables. Jersey Buffs do deliver a very high-quality meat, but most of their high price revolves around the market that was intentionally built around the only turkey that could really be pushed onto the highly profitable food industry, meaning that their numbers are intentionally controlled to keep them exclusive. But the turkey that went for the highest price at auction was for a turkey named Tyson in 1989. Now, Tyson also holds the record for the heaviest turkey ever recorded, weighing in at an inconceivable 86 pounds. We honestly thought this was some kind of joke or a ridiculous marketing gimmick. But no, Tyson's in the Guinness Book of World Records. Tyson went up for auction at a charity event and sold for $6,692. We hope whoever bought him invited the neighbors over for Thanksgiving, because there's no way a household could possibly eat that much bird alone. The breed of goat that'll cost you the most to procure is the Kamori goats from the Sindh province in Pakistan. Pakistan is known for their exceptional breeds of goats, and they are highly prized. The country is very strict about the sales of all of their prized breeds, and getting any breeds from Pakistan is already unlikely. This price is dependent on rarity and placement, because like we said, Pakistan has a lot of government backing to create a very selective and profitable market around their goat breeds specifically. But if you are lucky enough to find a seller, they can go anywhere from $700 to $3,000, depending on breedability and lineage. The most expensive goat sold at auction was an Angora goat from New Zealand that sold for around $87,000 back in 1985. When you account for inflation, that comes down to a little over $250,000 today. The most expensive pig breed in the world surprised us a little. The Meishan's been rising in popularity in the US among homesteaders because of their relatively easy natures, excellent meat quality, and manageable growth and breeding rates. So we didn't expect to see them on the list at all. But there's a lot of trading and accidental crossbreeding going on the ground. So even though they price so high at purebred level, the boars and sows being traded are probably not purebred. But if you do get a purebred specimen, expect to pay $1,000 for one. The good news is due to conservation efforts, the breed is expanding and coming down in price. There are few swine breeds that can compare with the meat quality that you can get from a Meishan, and the purebred specimens are very rare, so they are technically an endangered breed. We did a video on the Meishans a while ago. Go check out the history and future of this fascinating breed. The most expensive pig ever sold was at an auction that was organized by the US Navy to fund a warship. King Neptune was a Hereford swine that sold for the insane amount of $250 million. And the biggest joke of all is that that warship never even got made. Sheep breeds are a difficult one to pin down exactly. The Merinos, Dorpers, Rambouillets, and Colombians go for anywhere between $200 to $5,000, depending on the breeding stock you're getting them from. Merinos have a tendency to go higher. Some specimens have gone up to $10,000. Merinos are also our pick for the most profitable sheep to rear. They're excellent for meat, and their wool is the finest in the world. Even the rare and endangered breeds that you'd think would go for higher don't reach more than $3,000, even at auction. Sheep are one of the few livestock animals where their profitability is more valuable than their rarity. But the most expensive sheep ever sold was a pedigree Texel ram named Sportsman's Double Diamond. That fancy pants name came with a fancy pants price tag too, $490,000. Horses. A lot of people don't consider horses a livestock animal because they can't be eaten and don't produce an edible product that can be sold. But we think differently. Horses can absolutely be farmed, bred, and be very lucrative. They require a great deal of space, and they definitely are still utilized as working animals, though not nearly as much as they once were. We have to be careful here, because horses' prices can fluctuate wildly depending on the specimen's lineage and what their performances are like at a young age. Arabians are by far the most expensive breed to procure. $30,000 is what they usually go for, but fine specimens often go for triple that amount. Arabians are very versatile in the work and sport that they can handle. They're also very intelligent and obviously beautiful, but it's their historical significance that drives up their price and demand so much. But since we're on the farm, let's have a look at the working breeds too. The winner there is the Friesian. This enormous, strong, and gentle breed is an excellent working steed, but nowadays they're more often used for reenactments, television, and dressage competitions. They can go for anything between $25,000 and $50,000. And now, for the cattle. No one should be surprised to see Wagyu cattle topping out this list as the most expensive breed of cattle on the market. But know your species of Wagyu first. There are 4 major kinds. the Japanese Black, the Japanese Brown, the Japanese Polled, and the Japanese Shorthorn. The black is most popular for Wagyu beef, and the Shorthorn is the most readily available, being present all over the world. They're also the easiest to rear of the lot. Now, raising Wagyu that produces the restaurant quality cut that they're known for is highly dependent on their feed, climate, and a wide variety of other factors. Actually, we should make a whole video on the breed on its own to explain the intricacies that goes into rearing them and what makes them such a special breed to work with. Getting to the kinds that price the highest as live specimens, that title goes to the Matsusaka Wagyu. This kind isn't like the other subspecies we usually get. Predominantly reared in the Mie Prefecture of Japan, the highest auction price went to a cow that sold for $400,000. The chances of us getting our hands on a Matsusaka outside of Japan are slim to none though. Export of the prized beef is heavily restricted outside of the country. The record-breaking sale of a cow happened just last year, in 2023. She was a 4-year-old Nelore breed from Brazil named Viatina 19 FIV Mara Imoves. But let's save ourselves any more embarrassment for butchering the name and call her Viatina for short. Viatina is a pure white specimen that comes from excellent breeding stock, and when the already rare and rather expensive breed went up for auction, the final sale clocked in at an astounding $1.44 million. And unless a bidding war takes flame in the near future, she's going to hold on to the Guinness World Record for the most expensive cow sold for quite some time. And to wrap this up, let's look at some of the more obscure record holders. Balkan donkeys aren't just the most expensive donkey breed in the world. Their milk also produces the most expensive cheese of all the livestock animals. And for $600 for a single pound of Balkan donkey milk cheese, it must taste amazing. The highest priced fish ever sold was a bluefin tuna that went for $3.1 million. And for geese, the breed that tops the charts are the Sebis. And finally, the most expensive camel was from Kuwait that sold for $53 million. Did you have fun? We sure did. Before you leave, tell us, did you know that donkeys made such expensive milk? Or that the well-known and populous merino was the most profitable sheep of all? And as you write that comment, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time. Cheers!